Mr. Siddharth Abburi, he is the director at Avantel Limited. The company offers products and services for defense platforms, marine communications, and healthcare. He possesses over 13 years of experience in leading teams in sales, management, business development, technology, and strategic consulting. He is acquainted with latest technological innovations in the field of satellite communication and electronic engineering. Welcome, sir. Mr. Aalap Patel, Executive Director at HLE Glascoat, manufacturers of process equipment and solution providers to the chemical and pharmaceutical industries. Mr. Aalap's focus on modernization and operational efficiency has been critical in driving the company's growth in both domestic and international markets. Welcome, sir. Mr. Naman Sarawagi, Independent Director at E2E Networks, the company is popular for providing accelerated cloud computing solutions. Mr. Naman holds professional experience of over 12 years. He has invested in and advises multiple startups on product and marketing. Welcome, sir. Mr. Yogesh Kabra, founder of XYXX Apparels Private Limited. XYXX, a premium men's innerwear and lifestyle brand that has rapidly gained recognition since its inception. With over 15 years of experience in various industries and a strong background in business management, he has leveraged his expertise to create a brand that not only focuses on quality but also caters to the evolving preferences of modern customers. Welcome you all.
So it's a very interesting panel because after all, stalwarts that were there, now we have businesses which are actually changing the growth and young people who are actually demonstrating on ground that how execution in, niche areas is what the young generation wants, right? Traditional businesses maybe, are something which is not appealing to a lot of youngsters, but kind of there are legacy businesses which Siddharth and Aalap, you both have in a way transitioned them towards extremely high growth and kind of maybe new age businesses like E2E and XYXX. So and it's an honor to be here because Avantel, I guess people who are here who are invested in listed markets, both Avantel and HLE have a unique history where Vidyasagar ji, in fact, is a pioneer, Siddharth's dad. There is a monopoly in, SATCOM equipment, which all Navy uses Avantel's product. And now software-defined radios is bringing the growth. A lot of other products and the mix that is changing in the business, the policy that has changed is bringing more avenues of growth, and a company which used to be, just a 150 crore market cap is, completely transformed itself. A similar journey, right? HLE was a group which was unlisted, leaders in filtration drying equipment, more than 50% market share, acquired a listed business, Swiss Glascoat, again 150 crores market cap, and then I guess at the top of it, more than $1 billion market cap. And phenomenal journey in terms of going to Malabar. I mean, not you going to Malabar, Malabar coming to you. I still remember, Aalap was not answering calls from Malabar and they reached out to me, यार please Aalap को बोले एक बार बात तो कर लेगा यार, मतलब पैसा चाहिए नहीं चाहिए, ठीक है. So that legacy was of course a support, but the way the organizations are transforming in terms of the high, and quarter on quarter, Avantel has been surprising. The growth that happened post-COVID in HLE was phenomenal. 4 years, I guess, at the top of it was the order book. Now, of course, chemical sector has slowed down a bit. But then the journey, how you built capacity when it was required and delivered, was something you can say was phenomenal. So if you both can start first about that journey, and then I'll maybe go to the new age businesses.
Good evening, one and all. My name is Siddharth. I'm from Avantel. So I'm 3 to 4 years old in the company. Came back during the COVID second wave. And started working in the company. It was a huge learning experience. overall, learning from seniors who have been there, done that, and uh, and because of them, the company is what it is today, including the founder and the core pillars of our organization, which is the core team. So in any company, not just Avantel, I think all of us over here sitting, we need to first believe in the vision, purpose of why the company exists and what is it trying to do, what's the purpose. So once you understand that and you actually get connected to the vision and then you actually find the purpose. And then again, being a listed company, we have to be ensure that we are held accountable to the growth of the business and also to meet the expectations of our shareholders who are investing on us. So Avantel again is in a very, very niche area, like Arvind was stating. We are actually into defense electronics. Defense in itself is a very, very, I would say, not that easy of a sector to navigate. And success is again, it requires not just technology, it requires effort, being at the right place at the right time, and sometimes luck as well. So multiple factors are required to ensure that the company is successful. And not just that strategy where it's not just plan A and only not plan A. You have plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D. You have multiple plans working on multiples at a time and ensure that there's business sustainability. At the end of the day, it's a company which has to survive. So, and again, financially strong and stable. And the entire vision of the company is not just short term, it's always long term. And because thanks to the latest government as well, they have actually brought in multiple changes which actually accelerated the growth of such companies like Avantel, which is indigenization, Atmanirbhar Bharat, self-reliance, where we actually, the government understood that we have to not be too dependent on other countries as well. So I think that was a great initiative. And initiatives such as IDDM programs, where you have Make in India programs, which would actually give a huge boost to companies like us who actually are into technology and who are actually into R&D, where we actually, the key USP of the company is technology is over here, not elsewhere, where it can actually be tweaked to meet the needs and requirements of our Indian Defense Forces, rather than just plug and play of some other defense, building something and then trying to put it into the Indian ecosystem. It doesn't work. So again, understanding the customers' challenges, Avantel was actually able to deliver those solutions. And with me, I mean, that was a huge journey, understanding the timelines, understanding the processes. So it was a huge learning curve, and I'm really thankful and proud to be part of the entire Avantel team. So that's my journey.
Aalap.
Hi, good evening, everyone. So first of all, thanks, Arvind, for having me. I see this as a
Aalap,
great...
by the way, few people know, but actually Glascoat was the first note that Niveshaay got famous with. So our fanboy moment is here when I am with Aalap. So it is really wonderful.
No, and like I always respond to this statement, I'll say that again. So that feeling is mutual, so the fandom. So we were just talking to Vivek ji, and I told him at that time that it's questionable who made who famous. So that's on a lighter note, of course. So on the journey of HLE, I have been with the business for about 15 years now. I joined the family business shortly after graduation. I worked with L&T for a year or so before I was called back. Before I was asked to stop wasting time for different reasons. Anyway, I had been at it for almost 7 or 8 years before we made the acquisition of a listed company, which is called Swiss Glascoat Equipment. Until that time, my company was well established as a market leader in filtration and drying equipment. So my uncle who founded the company had done a phenomenal job bringing new technologies to the chemical manufacturing sector. Also, contributing not just to chemical manufacturing itself, but I'm sure being in the investment community, this is a fact that all of you know very well, that outside of the US, India has the most number of US FDA plants, right? And one of the key drivers for that is also the kind of equipment that our Indian industry adopted very early on. And one small, albeit an important part of that was the filtration and drying equipment that HLE manufactured. So we were very well established in that product segment. But ever since I had joined the family business, we were struggling with scalability. Right? So we had one great product, and it was very clear that there is still a huge unpenetrated market for this product, but it would take time. It's not something that could be accelerated beyond a certain point. So we were looking for one or a couple of more products that could be scaled to this size. And when we spoke about this new product, glass line equipment was something that we always discussed. It always came up. But within our family values, and like he said, vision and values are something that drive family enterprises very strongly. And something within our family values was that we won't do something, just to be a Me Too player. We would only do it if we were going to be really great at it, and if we could make a difference to the customers. If we could make a real difference to our end users. So somehow we never got about to making glass-lined equipment by our own. And when this opportunity to acquire Swiss Glascoat came about in 2017, we somehow made that happen. And then after that, shortly after that, we had a series of events where, I have heard this word being used a lot of times today. Luck is a very strong word. But we were there at the right time. There was a series of events, the China blue sky policy, and followed by COVID, and then so there was a series of events which created a real big push in the chemical sector, and we were just there at the right time to kind of ride that wave, so to speak. And our job primarily was to make sure that the execution is spot on. We don't goof up on quality, productivity, and delivery. So the basics. So in a certain way, the initial few years, the tailwinds were so strong. Our entire focus, had to be and was on execution. So life was relatively easy, so to speak. Somehow we were able to get the execution right. And that's what got us to multiple opportunities as it came, a few years later. We had the opportunity to acquire a company again in the glass line space in Germany, which also, is the technology leader in this product segment worldwide. So we made that acquisition happen in 21, and like they say, we had tasted blood and also some success consecutively twice with inorganic growth. So that was followed up by one more acquisition last year. Again, a very technology-oriented, company with a market leadership in its own product segment. So we kind of hope to recreate that same kind of success even with the heat exchanger business. So that's a little background of how growth happened for us, where we were and where we are kind of right now.
Wonderful. So Siddharth and I'll have one last question, then I move to Naman and Yogesh. Siddharth, you always say Dad is very focused on the products which we can be the only ones who can make, right? And 30% is kind of the net profit margin benchmark that you guys have. And Aalap, when you are making acquisitions, these inorganic growth opportunities, both of you in your family, how do you decide what is the return ratio that one is looking at, or you want exclusivity in the product or service, or what is the exact metrics, the growth metrics that you look at? Because maybe the margins can be lesser in certain products, but the growth can be higher. So if you leave those products and you're making a choice of acquiring some company or some, you can say expertise, because in businesses where HLE is, it is the market leader, right? In businesses where Avantel, it is a monopoly, right? So वहाँ पे तो market leader भी नहीं. तो how by design is the thought process always to be around those kind of businesses, only focus energy over there? Or some few years down the road, if you feel you can add, because of the capabilities, certain other things which may not be monopolistic or maybe a high market share, but can have growth runway which is higher than those products? How do you do that?
So, I mean, Arvind, there's no right answer to that. So, again, depends on the way the company is structured, the company is built, and the kind of core expertise that lie within the company. And you go seek out for opportunities. For example, when we were actually a small company, we wanted to ensure that the kind of products that we select, I mean, it's not a good market out there where it's very competitive, right? It's cutthroat. So for business to survive, you need to actually create your own entry barriers to survive and be profitable, right? Unless and until you're actually profitable, you don't have a bigger runway. So we have identified that niche space where we can do it, and it's not very big enough to attract the bigger giants to come and invest their time and effort for that kind of profit margins and revenues. So we were in that niche space where we actually built our expertise and kept building our entry barriers, right? So that was the reason, success story for that. But for every company, there comes a time and place where you actually are growing and you have to go to the next orbit. So that strategy doesn't work all the time, and it's not easy to find those specific niche spots as well. Like the founder used to say, blue ocean strategy. So having a blue ocean strategy is very, very important. At the same time, as the company is actually growing, you need to actually ensure that you're building the company to last, and you're not betting all your eggs in one single basket. So you need to ensure that you are growing as a company and taking advantage of the scenarios both within the company and external to the company. How's the market, assessing the market, understanding the customer's requirements, various customers in fact, and then understanding where you need to invest, ensuring that they have good returns. So Avantel, again, as long as there's a very, very good business use case for diversification, where, hey, if I'm actually investing X amount of money or the shareholders' money in a specific business use case, here's an ROI, here's my customers, here's my growth strategy. So once we have that in place, we will ensure that we diversify and we do it. So it's not always there, but luckily we have built up our expertise in those areas, and we continue to have that niche spectrum across multiple domains, not just in SATCOM as well. But at the same time, we are also looking to ride the Indian economy, where it's much more on the manufacturing and trying to look at the export market as well. So again, we have diversified into medical, so that's another diversification strategy. So it's not always about having a niche space, it's also about moving into different areas where you have enough customers. If 10 customers say no, you actually can go to the 11th customer or the 100th customer. So again, there's multiple strategies for various things where you have very little niche customers, then you have to have a niche product. If the customer size is big, then you can actually take much more risk in terms of strategy.
Correct. Aalap.
So obviously the drivers for any, I would say, inorganic growth initiatives or investments change over time. It depends on where you are as an organization, how you are evolving and what are the opportunities in front of you. But what we have focused on so far are a few key parameters. So we have stuck to what we know we can do well. So we have not ventured very far out from our core competency. So all of our acquisitions have been with products which are allied or in the same industry, or let's say in the similar application or industries. I think what we have also used as a filter for these opportunities has been the fact that those products have to have certain technological barriers. They have to be products with with a high. Those are products which would have high. I would say from the point of not just from the point of view of technology, but also from the point of application. Right? It has to be a product which is a value-added product. It should not be a product that is a commoditized offering. So that And third, what we have used usually as a benchmark is also it should be scalable. So as far as any opportunity has met these three criteria, we are happy to evaluate it. And then obviously there are hundreds and hundreds of things which we need to detail out once the opportunity shows.
Wonderful. So shifting gears here, Naman and Yogesh, both of you, I mean, E2E has stood up against the hyperscalers and, in fact, is growing so fast that a lot of people were, maybe debating whether, India has that market or not. And now suddenly everyone is talking that the market size of the opportunity that in India market would be, extremely good. And you guys were in a way preparing your organization, and the whole stack is now looking that if some company from India is going to be a winner out there, then E2E is that company that a lot of people are looking up to. And Yogesh, in your case, it's been almost, I've lost memory how many brands have tried to give competition to jockey, trying to become the next jockey and failed and, went belly up. And yours, the only company which has, thrived and grown and backed by exceptional investors. Manu was the early backer, and we in fact got to know about XYXX being in Surat, but being traditional investors, we thought, arey yaar, one more brand trying to challenge jockey, and eventually we had to invest at a very high valuation. You were kind enough to accommodate even then. But how did you guys both, build an organization, which in a way is a very difficult market if one thinks now to do something like an E2E or to do something like an XYXX has done, I think it would be unthinkable. So, Naman, Yogesh, you can share.
I'll start. So, first of all, thanks Arvind, Gunjan, Vikram. Amazing to see such a large crowd show up in Surat. This was also unimaginable. A lot of people who are native like me, I'm born and raised in Surat, would have never thought कि Arvind Kothari भी Surat से निकलेगा. So I'm actually damn proud of what Arvind has done. So I'll tell you, there's something very different in what we do compared to everyone else that I've been hearing since morning. Defense equipment, specialty chemical, और मैं black underwear बनाता हूँ. So, but what we've been able to do, or what's happening in India, is the digital consumer. Any consumer brand that's being built, at the center of it is the new consumer, जिसके लिए हम बनाते हैं. We are essentially a brand and marketing company because product after a point, the reason why so many people have failed in men's underwear is because they've tried to copy the product that jockey makes, put the manufacturing mind, said कि boss jockey है 200 में बेचते हैं, हम तो 180 में बेच सकते हैं, हमारे तो overhead भी कम है. But for a consumer business, the core is how the consumer thinks, behaves, and how do you have an impression or influence in the buying journey, which is way before the need an underwear. मतलब मैं क्या बताऊँ आपको, लोग तो खरीदते ही नहीं है. Unfortunately, I see the buying pattern. So brand and marketing is why we've been able to make some sort of a dent digitally. We stand at a very interesting position because my kids, or most of our kids, are not going to a GT store to buy underwear. वो तो होने ही नहीं वाला. The core reason for brands like ours have been the digital growth. The new consumer is fully digital. हम तो फिर भी मतलब 45 and above, which is now jockey's core customer, go to the store, which is about 1,20,000-25,000 दुकानों में जाके खरीदते हैं. 35 और उसके नीचे, no one is going to the store. And now with quick commerce, by the way, आप बोल रहे थे कि it's a young panel. I was with the Zepto founders a month back. I felt like a dinosaur. 22-year-old boys is giving a vision statement which will
Raising money at 40,000 crore valuation.
it's a 3-year-old, it's a 3-4-year-old brilliantly executed business.
Correct.
But what we've been able to crack is the digital distribution.
Correct.
Digital consumer awareness और उनको 10 मिनट में अंडरवेयर कैसे पहुंचानी है या 2
This
दिन
is
में
very interesting. You were sharing me data that your sales on Blinkit are skyrocketing. I mean, लोगों underwear 10 मिनट में चाहिए ऐसा.
I don't know. यार मतलब it's extremely counterintuitive, but मुझे लगा कि तो ऐसे ही I mean like all of us, the technology disruption is what bothers us also. Since we were digital first and now we are about 20% of the category digitally, तो वो लोग आए पहले तो उनको बोला कि बॉस उधारी पे तो हम देते ही नहीं हैं. तो he said नहीं पहले पैसा देंगे फिर आप लेके जाओ. In 6 months we were as large on quick commerce as we were on Amazon.
Wow.
The numbers are absolutely crazy. और लोग 10 मिनट मतलब I'm telling you लोग बाहर जाने ही नहीं वाले, वो फेस रिकॉग्नाइज करके ही अंडरवेयर डिलीवर होने वाली है. It's so I mean the disruption with the younger consumer that consumer brands ride on is how their behavior and interaction with a lot of categories is changing, and I think that's core to my business.
And digitally, you've been hitting Jockey's numbers already, right?
Yes. So Jockey is obviously present in 5 times more categories than we are, but in the apple to apple, category to category comparison, I mean we're about 4% lower.
Okay.
And by the way, the interesting part is 35 and below cohort, we convert 60% higher than Jockey.
Wow.
So the reason why a large brand has a is valued very differently and has a moat is 45-year-old Jockey customer दुकान में दवाई की तरह लेने जाता है. तो Jockey 8008 दो और 1 मिनट में लेके निकल जाता है. So that's the beauty of my category. वो customer को तोड़ना बहुत tough है. But the now 35-year-old, now 30-year-old is also going to be the same. So we are positioned extremely beautifully with a 10-15-year runway of building this, of compounding growth as this customer cohort graduates.
Correct. And quick commerce, your numbers against Jockey would stack up?
We are about the same. So we are about 25%. So of the category, hum 25% hai, Jockey 25% hai, and everything else. But we're still seeing the journey only begin.
Wonderful. Naman.
Quick commerce भी कितना percentage of market हो गया है?
Zepto लेने वाले हो लगता है. दोनों के question खाली quick commerce वाले. Sorry.
Quick commerce कितना market हो गया है?
I think it's still so for our category is very small. For fresh food, grocery, दूध दही इन लोगों के लिए in metros is becoming single teen, high teens. हमारी category में still meaningless.
Thank you, Arvind. So unlike the promoter family or promoter, I started as a fanboy of E2E founder. I'm on the board now. So they were talking about quick commerce and speed. So about 15 years ago, the founder of E2E, he wrote an article saying most Indian internet companies, they host their servers in Europe or North America, and we should start hosting it in India. And obviously there was a price disadvantage because power is very cheap in Europe. So Hetzner बोल के company है Germany में जो आज भी कुछ 1/5 price पे servers देती है India से. And then this Tarun's article detailed out what is the advantage. So basically if you hit a server in Europe, in 1 second it will do like 7 transactions, going and coming back. If you put it in Pune, it would probably do about 25 transactions, going and coming back. So those of you who are public market investors, if you remember what Sucheta Dalal had, highlighted long ago about NSE. If my servers are close to NSE servers, I get some undue advantage. So that article I wrote, I started following the founder. I'm like, yaar, ye to badi gazab ki baat hai. And I was leading marketing for another internet company back then. And he said, Naman, internet, apna server India mein rakho, acha hoga. And I started ranking #1 on Google. Just by moving my servers from Europe to India, I started ranking #1 on Google. This company called Freecharge, which is now owned by Axis Bank. And so मुझे एक दिन उस server पे RAM बढ़ाना था. So RAM is your storage, it's like the memory of your computer. And it took me 2 weeks. So as a 21-year-old, I'm signing some purchase orders and giving some deposits, etc. I'm like, 8 GB के server को 16 GB करना है. How tough is that? And then I realized कि India is like way behind in that game. E2E fortunately got funded by the same investor as my other company, became more closer to the founder. And while other people were talking about luck, E2E's journey started with bad luck. So one of our biggest customers got acquired by Myntra. And we thought, wow, I mean, we get an entry into Flipkart. Now we'll start hosting Flipkart servers. But about 3 months later, Myntra decided to shut down that company. And our revenues fell. This is right after getting publicly listed. And we went in red. Imagine a public company going in loss, and we are still on the SME exchange. That is where we thought कि game बहुत छोटा खेल रहे हैं हम लोग कि CPU servers rent पे देना, उसके around कुछ revenue करना, etc. And public market listing for a technology company मजबूरी होती है, क्योंकि technology company में private market में इतना पैसा है कि only when you like Flipkart for example, right, $20 billion में privately acquire हुआ, कभी public नहीं गया. PhonePe should be worth about 30 billion today, not going public anytime soon. So the truth was that no, private market investor would touch our company because the investment isn't great, etc. Right? So there was one investor who invested in 2010. They wanted an exit, so we went public. Last year, this 2019 bet that we played, saying we cannot be in the CPU market. The world is going towards GPU, and we started bringing GPUs to India. And there was a simple vision behind that. So back in 2010, the vision was that internet in India has to be faster. So the servers need to move to India. Now, this was a bigger goal, saying if our chips are not in India, we will not remain sovereign country. So sovereign country बनाने के लिए आपको 3 चीज़ चाहिए, मतलब एक country बनाने के लिए आपको 3 चाहिए: population, land, and sovereignty. The fourth thing is chip. If you realize what US did with Huawei and said, we'll place sanctions on you, etc. So if you're not manufacturing our own chips, we are not putting those chips on our data centers, it will be difficult to run our defense, it will be difficult to run our telecom because it will be governed by some other country. And now, last week we were the first Indian company, and till now the only company which brought in NVIDIA H200 servers to India. One would expect a larger business conglomerate families to do that, who control telecom, etc. But again, this small company, and we are talking about small because, after that Flipkart fiasco, we were worth only 20 crore rupees. In a public listed company, we were only 20 crore rupees. I think yesterday we were 5,500 crore rupees. So that vision basically cannot come from कि मेरे को पैसा बनाना है या टेक्नोलॉजी में अपॉर्चुनिटी है. वो विजन कहीं और से आता है. पहले ये विजन था कि क्या चीज़ें फास्ट हो सकती हैं, अभी ये विजन है क्या हम लोग इंडिपेंडेंट रह सकते हैं. और इस डायरेक्शन में इफ वी कीप वर्किंग, आई थिंक विल कीप फाइंडिंग न्यू पाथ्स, न्यू ट्रेंड्स, एंड अभी बहुत कुछ है बनाने को. Most of you are investors, you understand public market investing, but if you understand that AI हम लोग सुन रहे हैं इतना ज़्यादा, but जैसे when I was discussing Ola back in 2015 with people in Surat, and people said it's not possible that a taxi driver will start using smartphones. What AI is now imagining, and most of you saw that Tesla Optimus demo, anything that you can train a 5-year-old on will not be done by humans. So most of the hospitality staff that you see here, in the next 5 to 6 years, these will be humanoids or robots, as we like to call it. And we would want that they get controlled by a data center that is in India. Otherwise, imagine जो Israel ने अभी Lebanon के साथ किया, the pager attack. Imagine your humanoids being controlled from China and all these hospitality staff turning hostile. Now, this almost sounds like science fiction, but this is what Indian defense has realized, and that is why Indian government is now investing heavily on building our own semiconductors, and companies like E2E are making sure that these can be commercialized, and there are enough companies that can rely on servers that are in India.
Correct. So, I mean, the 20 crore company is now a 5,500 crore company. So a phenomenal, success. Congratulations. I mean, unimaginable wealth creation has happened. But if you could help us realize the size of because a lot of people confuse when they look at the market cap, and when E2E was maybe a 2,000 crore company, or it was maybe trying to raise some funds, and people were in this dilemma whether this is a right valuation or not. Then a valuation got finalized, then fundraising also happened, and large amount of dilution happened with the promoters, but the focus was on growth, right? So what is the size of the opportunity you're looking for, that growth still makes you excited about the future?
So if you look at numbers, I think we are roughly at about 100 to 150 crores of annual revenue, growing obviously very fast. Now, Government of India has released a AI tender that is a 10,000 crore rupees tender. Now, there are about 5 or 6 competitors who would bid for that tenders, and now imagine even getting like a very small fraction of that tender, the revenue would grow multifold, and hence the profits would grow multifold. But if you zoom out a little and see like a 5-year, 10-year view, the biggest problem in the world today is that the population is decreasing. Okay, even in India, I think replacement rates are at about 1.1 or something. Now, for every person that leaves Earth will be replaced by a humanoid. Okay, so we are talking about, and again, a little science fiction, but imagine 5 years, 6 years down the line, you have a humanoid with you that travels with you in the aeroplane, and they have a passport. Now, if there are 1 billion Indians, there will be at least 200 million robots. Yeah, I know this sounds nonsense right now. I see a lot of heads nodding. 5 to 6 years. This is as nonsense as saying कि 10 minutes में किसको underwear चाहिए, right? किसी को नहीं विश्वास होगा, but humans ऐसा कोई भी काम जो एक level के नीचे है, right? जिसमें brain नहीं लगता है या training नहीं लगता है, आप नहीं चाहेंगे कि आपके बच्चे वो काम करें. तो जो इंडिया जब राइज हो रहा है, तो आपके घर में अगर आप इमेजिन करें कि जो हाउस होल्ड हेल्प थे, उनके बच्चे हाउस होल्ड हेल्प नहीं बनेंगे, वो हाउस होल्ड हेल्प रिप्लेस होंगे ह्यूमनॉइड से. वो ह्यूमनॉइड एक सेंट्रल सर्वर पे ट्रेन होगा कि दिन भर में उसने जितनी चीज़ें देखी वो एक सेंट्रल सर्वर पे जाएगा, वो प्रोसेस होगा, वापस उसके दिमाग में कुछ डाला जाएगा कि बेटा अगले दिन ये काम ऐसे मत करना, ऐसे करना. एंड बेटा मतलब वो एक्चुअली एक 5 साल के बच्चे का ब्रेन है उस ह्यूमनॉइड में. अब ये जो अपॉर्चुनिटी है, आपको ये समझना पड़ेगा. एक छोटा एग्जाम्पल लेता हूँ जो आप लोग को शायद जल्दी समझ में आए. आज से 10 साल पहले सूरत में जितने कैफ़ेज़ थे, उनका सोशल मीडिया प्रेजेंस नहीं था. ओके, आज हर 4 कैफ़े के पीछे एक बंदा सोशल मीडिया मैनेजर बनता है. सो दिस इज़ अ न्यू काइंड ऑफ जॉब दैट इज़ क्रिएटेड. ये सोशल मीडिया मैनेजर पहले सिर्फ 4 ही कैफ़ेज़ को मैनेज कर पाता था, क्योंकि उसको बहुत सारे इमेजेस एडिट करने पड़ते थे, इमेजेस की क्वालिटी बहुत ख़राब होती थी, फ़ोटो लिया गया नहीं लिया गया. आज ये बंदा बैठ करके 8-9 कैफ़ेज़ मैनेज कर सकता है, क्योंकि एआई के थ्रू वो सोशल मीडिया पोस्ट जनरेट कर रहा है. नाउ ये जो मल्टीप्लायर है, क्या आप ज़्यादा खाना खाने लग गए हैं? मे बी अ लिटिल, राइट, बट आपके खाने खाने की क्वालिटी जो है वो बढ़ गई है कि आप कौन सा फ़ोटो देख करके खाना खाते हैं. वो अपॉर्चुनिटी एआई के कारण क्रिएट होती है. सो नंबर्स के सेंस में इसको बोलना बहुत मुश्किल है कि कितना बड़ा होगा, राइट. आज हम लोग ने नहीं इमेजिन किया था कि in a traditional Surat family, somebody would order, food multiple times a week from outside. But human nature है कि आप जितना आलसी उसको बना सकते हो वो बनेगा. अगर हमें दिमाग ना लगाना पड़े कि अगला स्टेप क्या करना है, कहाँ जाना है, सब कुछ अगर AI से हो सकता है तो होगा.
We use a little bit of what you're saying already. आप Facebook ads देखते होगे, पहले copywriter लिखता था, अब ChatGPT लिखता है, optimize for best conversion. A lot of the listing images that you see on e-commerce marketplaces are not real people. I mean, and it's getting scarily better. Like it's जो 500 रुपए कॉस्ट था एक इमेज शूट करने का, 16 रुपए हो गए.
वो 16 में से 14 शायद हमारे पास आता. I'll tell you, when he said not real people, हम लोग मेंटल हेल्थ में नहीं समझ रहे. जैसे कोरिया में ऑलरेडी होता है, everybody has a virtual girlfriend. क्योंकि असली गर्लफ्रेंड तो कुछ सुन ही नहीं रही है हमारा. तो ये वर्चुअल गर्लफ्रेंड वाला चीज,
असली बीवी भी शायद नहीं सुनती.
वो वर्चुअल मुश्किल है.
संभाल के बोल भाई.
So imagine somebody listening to you, and सूरत के एक startup है, and there are multiple. We are started replacing astrology में जो पंडित जी होते हैं, अगर वो astrology, if it is science and it can be taught to humans, it can be taught to machines. And now there are real chatbots that will act like your pandit ji, and you can talk to them 3 rupees, 4 rupees per minute, and they will listen to you, and you don't have to worry कि किसी real human को मेरे problems के बारे में पता चल रहा है.
And they'll be more accurate also.
They'll be more accurate, right? Mathematically, they'll be more accurate, obviously, right?
तो आलाप और सिद्धार्थ, मतलब when you both are in capital goods and आप देख रहे हो यार इंडिया 10 मिनट में चड्डी ऑर्डर कर रहा है और मतलब डेटा कंज्यूम कर रहा है. So how do you guys think about the future of industry, you can say manufacturing, that you are setting up? Because there also the runway is huge. I mean, we just started in terms of defense, maybe we are in a lot of chemicals, we just started, and now China is again competing more, but we still, the runway is huge. But at the same time, there are other opportunities that might come your way. How do you think at how the whole country is growing and we are positioned in a particular manner? Don't you think being just in capital goods can have very erratic cycles? So being in some consumables, which can maybe give the business a bit of a comfort whenever these cycles don't play out that well for you? Or you are comfortable being in that zone, being the leading player in the capital good industry and be the supplier whenever the country needs or the industry needs?
Never. I would say as the promoters, you should never be comfortable. We are actually in a times where disruption happens year over year. And whether you like it or not, digitalization, automation is happening. And as he has explained multiple examples, self-service, let's say back in the day, we all used to go to airports, right? You used to actually have a long queues where you actually used to wait for your boarding passes. Now it's all self-service. Next, it's facial recognition using Digiyatra. Similarly, again, be it whatever business that you're in, digitalization and using AI is imperative. I mean, it's going to happen for sure. And we need to ensure that how fast are we adapting. I mean, whether be it a big company or a small company, for example, even recently Volkswagen actually sold their factory because they were actually unable to cope up with the kind of pace in which China has automated its manufacturing facilities. So you can never be complacent. So you also always have to adapt to technology, innovate, and then ensure that you're delivering and optimizing. It doesn't mean that the human jobs are going to go away. No, because humans are the ones who actually dictate how to better enhance and think and innovate more. So you have to actually grow your skill set all the time as well. So again, learning, always be willing to adapt, learn, and innovate. So I completely agree with you in terms of data also being protected and having our own data centers are one of the key factors in the next gen. So again, Avantel is also in that space where we have initiated this ground stations where image processing has to be happening in real time. Data analytics have to be analyzed, assessed, and given to the defense forces in real time to make critical and crucial decisions in a fraction of seconds. Back in the day, let's say the data transfers were in kilobits. Now it's in gigabits. So again, the kind of data that's actually going in for processing and then optimizing the kind of data which is actually useful for the end customer is what is very important, rather than, okay, I just sent you 1,000 images. I don't care. I just need that one image where I need to know where exactly my target is or what exactly I need to do. So again, be it drones or whatever, it's AI all the way, and we always have to innovate.
Yep. So the space that HLE has operated in so far that space has been fairly traditional. So it's an industry, while chemical manufacturing in some ways has become quite cutting edge. So all the plants are automated. You have SCADA systems controlling everything within the plant. but still the core technology of those plants is still fairly traditional, right? So, you still need operators, you still need people, defining how the process should happen every day. Within those SCADA systems also, most of the things happen manually. So first there was an operator who used to manually go and open the valve. Now you have a person sitting in front of the computer, pressing a button and opening that same valve, right? But a lot of the things still happen manually. And I think all of that is set to change thanks to everything that is happening and everything that we have just heard in the last couple of minutes. I think for us this is a big opportunity, and we are, as we speak, gearing ourselves to not just make use of all of that new technology which is available, but also developing new products. So we have built the world's first fully automated ANFTs. Right now it sounds very, very obvious, right? We don't need an operator to operate our washing machine at home. You put in your clothes, you set the cycle, and you forget it. Everything happens, and when you come back from work, you have fully washed and dried clothes available. And this is nothing new. This has been happening for I don't know how many decades, right, with washing machines. But for some strange reasons, for all chemical equipment, it's not as obvious. It doesn't happen. So we have just launched a fully automated ANFD where once you set the basic parameters, the program learns itself what are the optimum points for transitioning from one phase to the other, and it's fill it and forget it. So somehow again our industry has been quite behind this curve, but I see that as an opportunity. So there is just more ground that we can cover in a shorter term.
We'll take the questions from the audience. Any questions?
Hello. So I have a question regarding the household being replaced by a humanoid. So in this particular scenario, the maid will be jobless. So suppose someone was selling underwear to that maid or that maid's son, then that person will not be able to sell underwear. So then you see that the business, that is an underwear selling business or whatever it may be, that will go down. And what is your take on the reduction in the population? That is, you mentioned about like 1.1 is going to be the replacement rate. I don't think it is the current one. Maybe down the line it might be. So what do you think about what AI will be doing in the future? We are saying that we might be giving the low-end jobs to the AI. But considering this scenario, we have a manufacturer making underwears. He will not be able to sell it to a robot, right? So how did it pan out in the future? What's your take on that?
So I think if your question is around unemployment, technology has been there, right? I mean, what we were doing 100 years ago versus today, and we've created more jobs. So technology doesn't take away jobs. There are some menial jobs that humans don't want to do, right? Like scavenging, for example, or going deep inside mines, for example, or doing somebody else's dishes, right? Nobody grows up and says कि मैं उस अमीर आदमी के घर में बर्तन मांजूंगी और वो मेरा काम होगा. तो robots आने से that work will be taken care of. Now, if you're asking, how will people, will their revenue go up? Humans, the consumerism is built in here, right? I think गालिब ने कहा था कि इंसान की ख्वाहिश की कोई इंतहा नहीं होती, बस 2 गज ज़मीन चाहिए 2 गज कफन के बाद. Even after we die, our wishes are not fulfilled, right? So ऐसा क्यों नहीं हो सकता है कि हमारा हर एक मील एक मिशलिन स्टार शेफ जो बना सकता है वो हमें सर्व हो? अगर आप वो इमेजिन करेंगे तो there will be enough jobs, right? Whether that job is for the robots or for humans, or humans maintaining robots or humans training robots. Jobs नहीं खत्म होने वाली हैं. अभी हम लोग गरीबी की रेखा से इतने नीचे हैं, right? People here are probably like top 0.001% of India, right? Imagine people who've not bought a fresh pair of underwears for themselves in their life. And I would imagine this would be about 20 to 25% of India that buys less than one pair of underwear in the whole year, right? वो consumerism ऊपर आना बाकी है, और AI के कारण again jobs नहीं जाएंगी, ऐसी jobs create होंगी जो शायद हमने पहले imagine नहीं किया था, right? Imagine, 10-minute delivery of food or anything, or you click a button and a chauffeur-driven car comes to your home, right? Or getting aeroplanes becoming cheaper, robots driving aeroplanes, and hence you can go back to your village multiple times in the year. The world will become a happier place because of that. And there is so much consumerism that is still waiting to happen that there will be more jobs than we are even thinking of. There will be new kinds of job created. आज हम लोग कुछ 5 से 10 मिनट भुवन बाम के रील्स देखते हुए बिताते हैं, ये कोई जॉब एग्जिस्ट ही नहीं करता था आज से 10 साल 20 साल पहले. तो नए जॉब्स क्रिएट होंगे. हमें टेक्नोलॉजी, और अगेन दिस इज अ जनरल डिबेट, यस पीपल विल नीड टू ट्रांजिशन. जो ये सोच रहा था कि यार मैं कुछ नहीं करूंगा तो बर्तन तो मांज ही लूंगा होटल में, वो जॉब खत्म हो जाएगी, बिकॉज देन दिस ह्यूमन विल बिकम कॉस्टलियर एंड पीपल विल नीड टू अपस्किल.
जब तक ह्यूमन बीइंग्स हैं तब तक एवरी ह्यूमन विल हैव डिजायर, ईगो एंड वैनिटी. एंड जब तक वैनिटी और ईगो है तब तक ब्रांड्स तो चलते ही रहने वाले. दैट्स द कोर ऑफ ब्रांड. तो टिल द टाइम आप बोलें कि यार अलग टाइप के ह्यूमन पैदा होने लग गए, तब तक मुझे टेंशन नहीं. टिल द टाइम देयर आर ह्यूमन बीइंग्स, देयर इज गोना बी दिखावा, देयर इज गोना बी वैनिटी. वी आर ऑल सिग्नलिंग. वी डोंट, मतलब वैसे होता तो सब बेसिक वाइट अंडरवेयर ही पहनते. So I don't think, by the way, we might go to a very altered state when we said कि यार मेरा bot कौन से underwear पहनता है वो भी matter करता है. उसने भी अरमानी की पहनी होनी चाहिए.
Pets पे तो होने लगेगा.
Because we are a creature of, मतलब हमको दिखाना होता है हमारे पास पैसा है, कुछ भी कर सकते हैं.
We'll take this last question.
Yeah, thank you for the question. I have a question for E2E networks. Actually, I am very less aware about your company, so I just visited the website, and I found this on your page. Be the first in India to train on NVIDIA Tensor Core GPU. Can you please tell me what it is for a layman?
Okay. आपके मोबाइल में एक चिप है, CPU बोलते हैं हम लोग, प्रोसेसिंग यूनिट बोलते हैं हम लोग. कंप्यूटर्स में चिप्स होते हैं, अब कार्स में होने लग गए हैं. पहले हम लोग GPU क्या होता है वो समझते हैं कि अगर एक CPU एक बार में 100 पैरामीटर्स हैंडल कर सकता है, एक GPU प्रॉब्ली मिलियन पैरामीटर्स हैंडल कर सकता है, राइट? इमेजिन करिए आप एक 5 साल के बच्चे को इंस्ट्रक्शन दे रहे हैं और एक 25 साल के एम्प्लॉय को इंस्ट्रक्शन दे रहे हैं, तो एम्प्लॉय विल बी एबल टू टेक मोर कॉम्प्लेक्स इंस्ट्रक्शंस. एंड अब उनके सेंसेस आप खोल दीजिए, एज इन यू आर नॉट जस्ट टॉकिंग टू दैट एम्प्लॉय, यू आर ऑल्सो टेलिंग देम टू यूज देयर आईज की you're pointing at something and you're asking them to smell something, and so you're increasing how many inputs that person can take in. Okay, ये चीज़ सिर्फ GPU कर सकती है. जैसे आप जब गेम खेलते हैं तो बहुत सारे ग्राफिक्स हिलते हैं, राइट? वर्सेस जब आप टैली पे काम कर रहे हैं तो बहुत मोनोटोनस सा एक स्क्रीन होता है. सो यू नीड बेटर प्रोसेसर्स टू प्ले गेम्स, राइट? सिमिलरली अगर कंप्यूटर में विजन है, लाइक आपके CCTV कैमरा को देख करके कोई जज कर पा रहा है कि कोई चोर आपके घर में आया है, तो कंप्यूटर को बहुत ज़्यादा प्रोसेसिंग एक साथ करनी पड़ती है. अब वो प्रोसेसिंग ऐसा नहीं हो सकता है कि आप 2 CPU 3 CPU पैरेलल में लगा देंगे और आप बोलेंगे कि यार ये सेम प्रोसेसिंग हो सकती है. मतलब 5 साल के बच्चों को साथ में खड़ा करने से उनको 25 साल के आदमी का दिमाग नहीं आ जाएगा. तो वो जो GPU है वो NVIDIA इज़ नाउ द लीडर इन द वर्ल्ड, राइट? शायद NVIDIA अगेन उनका बैड लक स्टार्ट हुआ कि कंप्यूटर वाले लोग इंटेल खरीदने लग गए थे, तो उनको इनोवेशन करना पड़ा, वो गेमिंग की तरफ चले गए. फिर गेमिंग में उनको रियलाइज़ हुआ कि यार इनके इस जो GPU है इसकी और भी एप्लीकेशंस हैं, तो वो लोग अब नॉन गेमिंग GPUs भी बनाने लग गए. अब ये नॉन गेमिंग GPUs जो है वो हम इंडिया में लेके आते हैं, उसे एक डेटा सेंटर में रखते हैं, बेसिकली उसको अनइंटरप्टेड पावर सप्लाई देते हैं, उसको कंप्यूटर पे डालते हैं कि कोई दूसरा बंदा अपने प्रोग्राम को इसमें डाल सके. अब प्रॉब्लम कहाँ आता है कि अगर आपने 8 घंटे तक बच्चे को कुछ सिखाया और 8वें सेकंड पावर चला गया, बच्चे के दिमाग में कुछ रिटेन हो जाता है, कंप्यूटर के दिमाग में कुछ भी रिटेन नहीं होता है. तो जस्ट दैट चैलेंज कि 8 घंटे तक मैंने उस मॉडल को ट्रेन किया वो बंद ना हो जाए. दैट इटसेल्फ इज चैलेंजिंग. नाउ E2E के जो कॉम्पिटिटर्स हैं they are obviously heavily funded but they have not been able to solve this problem. Okay, so when we do this and we say कि आपने 8 घंटे एक कंप्यूटर साइंस इंजीनियर है जिसकी करोड़ रुपए की सैलरी है, उसने 8 घंटे किसी मॉडल को ट्रेन किया और पावर नहीं जाएगा, उस बात की जो रिलायबिलिटी है, दैट इज व्हाट वी आर प्रोवाइडिंग. ओके, एंड आप अगेन जैसे हर 4 साल पे नया GPU आएगा, मतलब कंप्यूटर साइंस का रूल है एवरी 4 years थिंग्स विल. जैसे अगर आप इमेजिन करो आज से बहुत साल पहले आपके मोबाइल की मेमोरी कितनी होती थी, आज 512 GB मेमोरी को भी इट्स दिस मच 512 GB मेमोरी, राइट? सो व्हेन GPUs बिकम फास्टर एंड फास्टर कैन वी एक्चुअली गेट द लेटेस्ट GPU टू वर्क ऑन. नहीं तो हम जो मॉडल्स ट्रेन कर पा रहे हैं वो शायद लिमिटेड पैरामीटर्स में ट्रेन कर पाएंगे. इंस्टेड ऑफ बिलियन पैरामीटर्स विल बी ओनली एबल टू ट्रेन और मिलियन पैरामीटर्स, एंड हेंस जो ओवरऑल आउटपुट है आप बोल सकते हैं कि बहुत ही सब ऑप्टिमल होगा, या फिर देयर आर सर्टेन प्रॉब्लम्स विल नेवर बी एबल टू सॉल्व, लाइक ड्राइविंग अ फास्ट कार ऑटोमेटिकली, लाइक विदाउट द नीड ऑफ अ ह्यूमन, राइट, ऑटोनॉमसली. वो तभी आप कर पाएंगे जब वो GPU उस कार पे है और वो किसी नेटवर्क से बात नहीं कर रहा है, क्योंकि अगर नेटवर्क डाउन हो गया तो कार क्रैश हो जाएगी. ये GPU की कैपेबिलिटी है, राइट, टू बी एबल टू सी लाइक ह्यूमंस यू नीड faster GPUs, and that is what we're bringing to India.
And sir, आपने अभी बोला कि आपके competition, you mentioned something about the competition and you are having some differentiated strategy. So can you just elaborate on that?
Competition are मतलब नाम आपको सबको पता है, large telecom companies, they are trying to own data centers, okay, but unfortunately क्या होता है कि जो scientists होते हैं या फिर people who work on technology, they cannot be tamed. ऐसा नहीं होता है कि आप किसी को करोड़ रुपए सैलरी दोगे वो आपके लिए आके काम करने लग जाएगा. आपको एक सर्टेन एनवायरनमेंट बनाना पड़ता है उनके लिए, एंड दैट इज़ देयर चैलेंज. जो बड़ी कंपनियां हैं वो अगर बाहर से GPUs लेके आ भी गए, किसी डेटा सेंटर में डाल भी दिया, उनको चलाएगा कौन, राइट? इट इज़ नॉट ईजी टू हायर दोज पीपल. आई एम नॉट श्योर इफ देयर इज लिटिल हिस्ट्री. विनोद धाम ने AMD में भी जा करके ही इन्वेंटेड माइक्रो प्रोसेसर्स देयर एंड देन ही केम टू इंटेल. आई इमेजिन AMD must have done a very very bad job as a HR lead कि उनको Intel में जाना पड़ा. So जो कंप्यूटर जो लोग समझते हैं या कंप्यूटर पे जो लोग काम कर सकते हैं उनको हायर करके रिटेन कर पाना itself is a moat for anybody working in technology, right? And that is what our competitors have not been able to do. They think of this as a infrastructure problem कि एक बिल्डिंग खड़ी की, वहाँ पे पावर डाला, वहाँ इंटरनेट डाला और डाल दिया एक 25 लाख का GPU बीच में और वो काम करने लग जाएगा. ऐसा नहीं होगा. वो 8 घंटे के बाद जब बंद होगा आपको पता नहीं है कि उसको रिस्टार्ट कैसे करना है, या क्यों उस 8 घंटे को मैं 16 घंटे कर पाऊँ या बंद होने से रोक लूँ. उसके लिए आपको सर्टेन ब्रेन्स चाहिए होंगे, उसके लिए आपको एक इन्वायरमेंट बनाना पड़ेगा अपनी कंपनी में.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir.